I believe that 99% of the people in the gym are not seeing progress, not because they are not changing the things up, but because they are changing it way too often. Let's talk about it. How do you know what to do when you're in the gym? Most often than not, your choices are influenced by somebody on the internet. You see somebody, you like him, you buy his program or just follow his advice, and here you are in the gym, you are doing certain split and exercises. No problem with that. Most of the splits, most of the exercises will work, except if they don't. The problem is this: the next week you're gonna like somebody else. And what this will do, you're gonna change the previous program or mix it together and create your own. But then on the next week, the week 3, you're gonna do the same thing. Even if it's every 2 weeks, it's still way too often. And here is the problem with that. If you do something for a week or 2 or even 3, it's not common that you're gonna see results. The results need time to manifest themselves, especially in bodybuilding. And keep in mind, maybe your program will be actually good functioning program, but your diet is not on point, your sleep is not on point, maybe you break up with your girlfriend or something like that, something else that affects this perfect cycle. And the bodybuilding is a very jealous partner to have. I mean, either you're gonna do all in with or without drugs, or you're not going to get the result and the pleasures from these results. Once the curiosity is lost, you try this program, that program, and probably after a year or 2 maybe, you just get tired of trying and you settle to certain program. This is a little bit opposite of the previous point. But because you lost the curiosity, you lost also and the passion. In other words, you're just going through the motions. You are sticking with the program, but the intensity is not there, the attention to detail is not there, you are not feeling the exercises. In other words, you're just exercising for health purposes, which is great. But I want to make myself clear. I'm talking about hypertrophy, actually building, growing your muscles, not just exercising for fitness. That's other story. Then probably it's not so important what you're gonna do. Just go to the gym, do something 2-3 times a week, you are set. But in natural bodybuilding, if you want, everything has to be perfect. So if you find yourself in this position and you realize that you don't have energy, you don't feel motivated to go, probably this is a very good point to think about what is not working, to evaluate what's the result from the current program or the system that you are doing to this point, and based on that, to move on the next point. Everybody is different. This is true for bodybuilding more than anything else. How your genetic makeup is, how responsive you are to growing your muscles, how dedicated you are. I mean, how long are your limbs, your leverages through the body, how you feel your muscles. And because of this reason, if the bench press is working great for your pecs, this doesn't mean the bench press will be the ideal exercise for me. It's so unique. 1,000 people, 1,000 different specific bodybuilding exercises that have to be applied. Usually, the exercises that we feel the most are the ones that will give us the best results. Here is why, if you're in the stage 2 that I just described, and you feel bored and you don't feel it, or you feel pain, or you're not motivated, most often than not, you are just not discovered to this point which exercises are giving you the best results. And that's the journey in bodybuilding, in natural bodybuilding specifically, because in the other bodybuilding with drugs, at least you're gonna grow anyway. But here you really have to focus and search meticulously for movement patterns of flexions and extensions, because bodybuilding is really that. You're flexing certain joints or you're extending them. But in some angles, in some situations, you feel one a lot better than another. And when you find something like that, this is a clear sign that here you go, I found one golden nugget. I should stick to that. That's the phase 1. And keep in mind that this search can take you years for some exercises. Somebody will feel the chest sooner. Some will feel it a lot later. Some people will have always problem to feel the shoulders, for example. I was one of these people for 10, 15 years. I did not feel anything. And the result was obvious. My shoulders was a lot smaller. And once you establish exercises like that, you don't need Ronnie Coleman to tell you if this exercise is executed in the proper manner. If you feel it, this will work for you. Stick with it. And in this sense, if you find one of those, you feel it perfectly, you feel that this will produce result because you feel the stretch, you feel the construction, you feel the pump, damn, you probably even see the results a couple of days after you're training it. The muscle are still with form and tight and everything. The body is giving you feedback that something is working. Why are you going to change it then? The weights that you are using are just too big. In other words, you are a lot stronger than what's needed for hypertrophy. In other words, and with the modern trends, with progressive overload, people always placed emphasis only on the weight use. But there is a clear distinction between powerlifting and bodybuilding. That the old bodybuilders were talking about this for years. Powerlifting is different because then the goal is to move the weight from point A to point B. The problem with that is after certain level of intensity, what is happening is the body just switch off the muscles use, meaning to stretch in the full length and contract, and they engage more the ligaments and the joints. And what we want to train, ligaments and joints or muscles. So between 60 and 80% maximum, you're gonna find your best rate for growing muscles. We can make a case that you're lifting way too heavy and you're progressing in strength, but just the volume is not enough. And by volume, I don't mean the genetic volume. I mean the quality reps with the exercises that you feel the most with the proper amount of volume. Some people here will go even further. There is a scholar and practitioner. His name is Fred Hatterfield. He, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that created the first personal training certification. He have this theory that we are so different that some people will grow with 4 to 5 reps. Some people will grow with 8 to 12 reps. And some will go with 15 to even 25 reps. And the reason is the genetic makeup. In other words, what type of fibers predominantly we have in our muscle bellies. Some people that are more genetically gifted will have fast twitch. This will be the ones that are very strong and they can work with low reps close to their maximum. The others, somewhere in between, it's gonna be like 30% of the overall population. They're gonna grow with something with the classic parameters, like between 6 and 12, let's say, and the other will grow with something higher. In other words, if you have the exercise that you feel the best, if you stick with it the longest, if you have the proper volume, and if you still don't see the results that you're looking for, maybe going through the rep ranges for a little bit longer, even another 4 to 6 weeks, just to see that if you are not missing on this theory. And with this, you can see how if you have the exercise dialed in, if you have the proper technique, you have the perfect feeling, but what is missing is probably you didn't give a chance to go through all rep ranges to see if they work. That's why the fundament of everything I'm talking about is to find exercises that you feel the best, to do it long enough with all possible variation before you even think about changing it. Oh, and by the way, if you want me to elaborate more about the rep ranges, please leave a comment and why not, I may do it soon. And this is the answer that you come to see in this video. I hope you find this video helpful. If it's like that, give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, Seps.